What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be reviewing episode 2 and 3 of the Continental. So let's get into that. Before we get started, I just want to put a quick word out there. I am a little late to this review. I should have been doing this week by week, but when you don't do this full time and you have a full-time job and outside life out of this, it's kind of hard to get the reviews out quickly for you guys. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting the channel so far. I know it's super brand new, but every like here and there, every comment, every other video, every one subscriber that I'm getting higher after a couple of videos, it means so much to me. And I love doing this. I love doing these reviews. And I hope you guys continue enjoying and following this channel with me and giving me more feedback, because I would love to hear all you guys' feedback to see how I can improve on my channel. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Continental. Now, I'll be honest, when I saw the initial announcement of this show, not that I was skeptical, because I love the John Wick world, I love the John Wick series, but there's a lot of times where things like this, where they're prequels, it answers a lot of things that we were never asking. And as fans, sometimes that could ruin the experience of the John Wick movies or whatever franchise it's giving us answers to. And with the Continental, it doesn't really do that. It honestly elevates the John Wick series for me, because you do get a lot of questions answered that I know I wasn't really asking about Winston as a character, but it gave me so much more depth to his character and his charisma in the John Wick franchise. You can see why he's like that within the Continental show. And I did not expect this show to go as insane as it has. The last two episodes, well, the last two parts, because this is a 3-part series, and that's pretty much all there is so far, according to Peacock for now. But the last 2 parts of this 3-part event has been insane. Some of the best John Wick stuff ever. Like, my favorite John Wick movie is the second one, and I feel like this past 2 episodes have topped John Wick 3 and 4, which is insane. I did not expect that from this show, and it has been insanely good. I was hyped. I just finished watching both part 2 and 3 literally just right now. So, I mean, you guys have to watch this. If you haven't seen it already, it's already been out for, episode 2 has been out for about a little over a week, and 3 has been out for a couple of days now, or one day I should say now, and it's just been one of the best things I've seen on television in a very long time. The acting with Mel Gibson as the current manager of the Continental, I love his acting. He really elevates the show because he's very explosive, he's very vocal, has a huge presence when it comes to the show, but he's also kind of a little bit, in a way, kind of a coward, which is kind of funny to see how he's talking this big game but then runs away and things like that. But he's still in the fight, in a way, throughout the entire kind of big siege in this 2 last episodes. And even with Sharon's character, I love seeing the dynamic between Sharon and Winston's character and them kind of growing together, because I was wondering how that happens, because Sharon seemed to be very loyal to Mel Gibson's character, because he was a current manager, and of course has his role as kind of like his right-hand man. He has to be. And it was very nice to see Sharon's character and Winston's character kind of start getting along and growing that kind of connection, and you can see that translate into the John Wick movies, and you can see why they are so close to each other and why they care for each other and why Sharon protects the Continental and Winston at all costs. And then another cool kind of character dynamic is the twin assassins, and they seem to be the ones out of this whole show that are the highest caliber in terms of actual skills, because everyone else within the show seems to be very average assassins, average fighters, or some that are a little bit better than others, but the twins seem to be the most exceptional fighters out of all of them. And I just, of course, you have to wonder, how would they fare against John Wick, right? Because John Wick is supposed to be the best, and I'm sure John Wick would destroy them, but their combat was in sync the whole time, and they were pretty the biggest danger to our antagonists here, or protagonists here, I should say, throughout the entire series. And I would love to see a battle between them, but of course that's not realistic, because John Wick happens, 30 years down the road. So obviously that wouldn't line up at all, even if that was a possibility. But it's kind of cool to think about that a little bit. And then we introduce a character named Gene. I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head right now, but I haven't really seen him in too many things. I've seen a couple things that he's more, for me, most recognizable in the Sons of Anarchy series as well as the Mayan series. And I thought he was a good addition to the show. The only kind of issue I had is, I'm not sure if it's just his acting style, but his personality within the Continental seemed to be pretty much identical from like Sons of Anarchy and Mayans. You literally just copy and paste that character and give him a different name and a different role, and it's the same thing for me. Like watching him had no difference, but that kind of persona that he has from those other shows into the Continental, it fits pretty well within the show. It's just obviously, like I said, it's kind of a copy paste in terms of his acting abilities. And like I said, I haven't seen him in too many other things, so I don't know if that's really how he is all the time, or he did that particularly because he felt like it would have fit for the show. And in my opinion, it does fit, but that's just a little kind of nitpick, kind of gripe there on that particular character. But I did like him, and in addition to everybody else. Lots of big action sequences as well throughout the entire show in general, and especially the past 2 episodes. Lots of good gunplay, lots of good combat. Choreography was off the chart. Lots of good visuals too. The camera work. There was a lot of times. There's even a scene in there where it kind of felt a little bit like Kill Bill in a way. There was like a kind of a one-on-one battle, which was kind of cool to see that as well. That end battle for those particular characters was pretty awesome. And for this being a show that's based off of John Wick, I felt like it wasn't super bloody. And it got a lot more bloodier towards the end of the part 3. But even then, I felt like there should have been a little bit more gore, or just a little bit more blood kind of thrown out there, because it didn't seem to be too bloody, and it just seemed kind of tame on that end. But even with that being said, the action was amazing, the gunplay was amazing, and the camera work was just awesome. It was directed beautifully, and I thought this, like I said, this show as a whole, to me, kind of sits above some of the John Wick movies, which is really awesome to see, especially as a John Wick fan. And the show did have a pretty crazy conclusion overall to this 3-part, things with the high table, things with Mel Gibson's character, with Winston, with Sharon, with pretty much everybody. It had a pretty satisfying ending. And if they do anything else beyond this, this 3-part show that they did here, I would be curious to see what it is, but I feel like leaving it here at this 3-part, and this is just a moment in the John Wick world, I think that's a pretty good place to stop, and I think this is as far as they should go with this show. I'd be happy to see more, but I think this is where it should end, because this had a satisfying ending that definitely pretty much gave us a lot of answers and a lot of insight to characters within the John Wick franchise. But I do think something is going to happen with the show in season 2, or maybe some more parts, just because the ending did have a little open-ended thing to happen, sort of, but you'll see when, I don't want to get into too much details and stuff. You'll see if you've seen the show already, if you watched the 3rd part, you see what I mean by that. It does kind of leave a little open-ended ends on this side, but then it kind of resolves it in the final scene in a way. But there's definitely more things to be done here, but I hope they kind of just keep it as a standstill with this 3-part, because I thought this was just one of the best things in the John Wick world that we've gotten so far. But let me know your thoughts about the Continental down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback of what you thought about this. I thought it was one of the best things that the John Wick universe has brought to us so far, and I know there's going to be a lot more John Wick stuff happening in the future, because this has grown to be an extremely huge franchise, and a lot of things can happen within this world. So I'm excited to hear what you guys thought about this. I definitely recommend the show if you haven't seen it already. And if you guys like talking about anything movies, video games, or TV related, consider subscribing down below. I really appreciate all your guys' support in the past few episodes. And again, this is Leo's Nerd Talk, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Thank you.